everybody, it's Badge, and today we're going to be looking at the wonderful world of MCedit and give a few little hints and tips for those of you who are either not familiar with it at all or have tried it and find it a bit scary, because a great program as it is, it's not overly riddled with useful tips and tricks, so let's have a look at what the buttons do and how to get the most out of it. So I've just got a cat crawling over me. Anyway, this will be the view you see when you first load it up. We got these two yellow columns. The left hand is all the first 5 maps that are in your Minecraft saves folder. I'll say the first 5. The 5 most recent, should I say, according to modification date. And then at the top we've got to create a new world. Let's just click on that. So he'll want to ask you where you can stick it. Give it a name and stuff, and then it'll want to generate. You've got 2 options for generating. We're not going to do that now. One is flatland. So if you see these people that do the Minecraft tutorials that have got a big flat area, that's one of the ways you can generate it. And the other one is to generate a normal world map. But you need to have Minecraft server installed. Well, not installed, but on your computer, because it uses that to generate the map. Map generation, for some reason, needs that. But we don't bother with that, because you can just start up a new map in Minecraft itself and then open it in here, so don't worry too much about that. If you just want to take something out of a map or put something into a map that you've already got, then you can use load world or open level, pretty much the same thing, or one of the F buttons here. As I say, if it's in the top 5, then it'll get there. Then on the right hand side you've got keys. That's your basic key bindings. It's pretty straightforward. We'll go through those in a minute. Graphic options, sky and fog. If you're finding it is quite intensive graphically, so I mean, you know, it's not beautiful by any stretch of the imagination, but it does draw a lot of blocks. So if you are having difficulty moving around, you might want to stick the fog on. Actually, I might put the sky on and just see what difference that makes. Show hidden ores. Generally, unless you're looking specifically for ores, maybe you're making an adventure map and you want to restrict the amount of ores there are, turn that off. Otherwise, you're going to see lots and lots and lots of crap all over your map, and it makes just general looking around very difficult. Likewise with entities, it's a little less of an issue. We'll go through those in a minute anyway. We'll show you the difference. I turn Show Chunk Reader off because it flashes when it's refreshing the image after you've made a change, and it feels like you're about to have an epileptic fit if you keep doing that, so I tend to turn that off. Fast leaves, just again, I put that on because it makes things a bit quicker. You don't need to see through leaves, you're not playing the game. I don't really know much about rough graphics. I don't use it. Again, it's probably something you'll turn on if you have possible problems, and screw that. Skins, I've never changed skins. I don't even know if you can change skins. Oh look, oh I see, it's using the oops, using your texture packs that you've got loaded. Field of views, talk for a second, blah 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 blah. Pff, don't touch them unless you really get stuck. Okay, and then options. bloody blah. Yeah, again, these are all probably never going to get touched. It's just your general views and speeds and stuff. Auto brake's quite useful. Invert mouse is obviously one that you might want to change. Long distance mode is always target the furthest block over the cursor. Screw that. Again, you can have a play around with these once you get familiar with the system, but for now I'd pretty much leave those as is. MCedit homepage, pretty obvious. Again, view readme, recent changes, check for updates. MCedit is very good on its updating. If a new one comes out, it will tell you up in the top left corner that there's a new version out, and updating it is pretty much one click. So I mean, it is very well written. I can't really knock the guy. Could do with a few aesthetic changes, in my opinion, but as far as the program goes, it's pretty damn excellent. Obviously, one thing we should make very clear is you must have Minecraft turned off before you start playing this. You're not loaded at all. Otherwise, you could find that you get map saving issues and corruptibles and things like that. So, shut it all down. Okay, right in the top right, we've got a few little instructions. WASD, QZ is up and down. Space to slow down. Never really need that. Right click to move your camera. Mouse wheel tool distance. Hold shift to move along a major axis. Right. So this, I'm going to load up this one. It's just a quick map I fired up in Minecraft. Had a quick wander around. It was quite nice in the fact that I found two villages right next to each other. Right, if we zoom out quickly, you will see a checkerboard effect and the plain blue. We have a look around. I'm holding the right mouse button. What's wrong with my mouth today? Right mouse button? Right mouse button. Oh, you know what I'm pressing. The checkerboard is area that is generated. You will see it's slowly bunging it in. It's because I zoomed right up high. It's struggling. As we get down, it'll be a bit quicker. The plain area is chunks that have not been generated. Each one of these squares is a chunk. And you can also see, obviously, underneath. That will change because now we've zoomed in. Like Minecraft does, it tries to load the ones near you. So as you see, we're going along, and there's a lot of blocks for it to load in. So it's depending on your system, it's going to take an amount of time. There we go. And you see, when it goes into the distance, it kind of just forgets about rendering it and just does straight columns. So if you do see that, don't panic too much. It's not your map's screwed up. It'll sort itself out in a minute. It does limit its view distance. Right, we'll see two little guys here. This guy is where I'm standing in the game, and this little guy over here in the cage is the spawn. You know, when you die. But let's not worry about that right yet. Sorry, that was a bit loud. Let's have a look at the tools along the bottom. The first one is select. Right click for options. Options are boring. Don't really need it. It works in a 2 points on a cube system, which to make that sound a bit more sensible is you pick bottom corner or top, well, you pick a corner and it will follow your mouse, and then you pick the other corner, and diagonals between the two will generate the cube. Now if you think, oh no, look, I've missed that, each face highlights as you roll the mouse over, so you can drag it and resize it to your heart's content. Blah blah blah. Now, once you select things, you've got several options. most of the time your options will appear on the left hand side here in this menu. Nudge, as it says, if you click and hold, well, it gives you a little tooltip there. If you click and hold and then move your WASDs, you can move crap around, and release the nudge button, and it goes back to moving the camera. Deselect obviously deselects. Select chunks will expand that selection to pick everything, or pick a chunk that is in. So if it's in one chunk, as it is there, select the chunks, select that whole chunk it's in. Because it's crossing two chunks, you've got two chunks. These darker grey lines indicate each chunk. Zoom out, you can see it's like a grid system. And it's got 16 smaller squares within each. Deselect that again. Let's go back in. We will go on to why you need to select chunks in a minute. Put this. Delete the blocks. Same as pressing the delete key. It will just fill it with air blocks technically. Be able to remove them. Delete entities. Again, if there's any entities within that box. Analyze. Yeah, this is a tool you're probably not going to use very often. Counts the different blocks and entities in the selection and display the totals. So there you go. Shows you what. It's quite useful if you think you've got a rogue something in there, like a spawner or something in there that you don't want. I hope you find it. Cut and copy and paste. These are relatively new. Sorry if you heard that. I was just scratching my nose. Relatively new to Minecraft Edit. Let's select something a bit more useful than that, shall we? Let's select this house. So we'll go up and we'll pick a high point, and then we'll drag it out there, and drag it out there. Okay, so that's our house. Now cuts it, and then it saves it like a little pasteboard up here. So we can, if we deselect, we can then click on it and bring it back in. Copy obviously will do the same, but it won't delete it. It'll just it'll put it up here in the pasteboard, but it won't actually remove it from the map. So we can drag this around. No buttons are being pressed. It's just mouse movement, and then click where we want it. And then if we want, we've got the nudge button again, so we can hold down the left mouse button on the nudge, and we can move it around. We're happy with that. And then here we've got copy air and copy water. So if your thing has water in it and you want the water to come with you when you paste it, or with the object, then you want to have copy water ticked. Otherwise it won't. And likewise with the air. Obviously in this it's not going to make any difference because it's not going to fill the house. The house is still going to be full of air. But if you are pasting that house, say, let's move it into the desert and then sink it down under the ground. Now, if we have copy air on, it'll keep those air blocks inside this, but also the air blocks under this roof eave and stuff. So you've got to be quite careful. If you take copy air out, then you will not have big gaps under the roof eaves, but the house will be full. In fact, let's import that without the air and then do the same again. Sink it down, press the right button, might help. And copy air on, import, deselect. Now, you see with the air on, we've got this gap down here because it copied the air blocks, but the house is full of air. Whereas this one, it now looks like the house is sunk into the ground, but the house Let's try and get in it. There you go. It's full of sand. Now, you might find that quite difficult to see. If you go into the ground, everything that is solid block is transparent. Everything facing air is visible. It can take a little bit of getting used to, but once you have a fly around, it's quite logical. These days, with all the mines and ravines and stuff, it can get quite busy. Oh look, there's a spawner there. Quite busy. This is quite a good map, you know. It's got lots of good stuff on it. A spawn at the end of a mine shaft as well. How cool is that? See, and then as I come into an airfield area, suddenly I can't see anymore. Things, transparent blocks like this do cause slight issues. Don't worry too much about that. Wow, that is so cool. And then we'll fly back out. Anyway, so there's your basic select tools. Let's delete that and that will go away. Next is your brush. Now your brush is your basic building tool. Bish, bash, bosh. There you go. Boink. Okay, with Tetris going on. Now, if you want to change what block you're putting down, you've got two options. You can either click here, that's on the sort of stone icon, and you get a full list come up. You can use a search, so you can say step. No step. Stair. There you go. So you got stairs. Okay. Now, if you scroll your scrolly wheel, you can see it goes up and down. It's using that square that your cursor's on, but then changing its position relative to it. This is quite useful because sometimes you want to replace that block, sometimes you want to put it on that block, and sometimes you might want to put it 3, 5 above that block, whatever. It is written, as we say, on the front page, but it's quite difficult to spot sometimes and people get a bit confused, so that's how you do that. As you can see, it works on whatever face you're looking at. You got the nice little arrow, so that makes life a little bit easier. You can change the brush shape. Now obviously we're 1 by 1, so that's not going to make a difference. So here you've got length, width, height, and you can use the mouse scroll wheel and you can see it just changes the size, and likewise width. Let's have 9 by 9. There you go. And then if we make it 9 by 9 by 9, we've essentially got a ball. Let's go back to stone. And we've got a stone ball. And again, scrolling the mouse wheel enables us to either place it on the ground or in the ground. Ooh. I just thought selecting, I've completely missed that bit out, and I do apologise. Selecting the block you want to place, you have the option, as I say, of doing that, but you can also hold down Alt and click on a block you want. So now that's a ball of cactus. Alt, ball of cobblestone. Glass is quite tricky because it's got transparency bits in it, and it'll only do it on the actual artwork. But it's nice to air, very quick. So it's a ball of air. Just click on the sky. Ball of wood. So yes, there is a solid ball of wood. Now, here we've got hollow. So then do it again, that's now a hollow ball of wood. Let's just click on that to get rid of that ball. And we can see by going in, this is hollow. If we go in here, this is solid. Everything's gone transparent. Useful for building rooms and stuff quickly. Again, because we can change round to square. There is a hollow square. Oops. Control Z is undo. A useful little room very quickly. Obviously the hollow won't work if it's too small. Let's undo that again. Undo that again. Cool. There are, I don't know how many undos there are, but there's quite a lot. Usually not quite enough if you've made a really big boob. Noise. Noise randomly removes blocks from the block. That's quite difficult to explain. That's easier to explain. Again, this is quite useful for making natural phenomena, either hills. Let's change diamond. Let's make it not quite so wide, but quite that way. Get rid of hollow. Make it a bit more like that. And that looks a bit more natural. Obviously, it doesn't look like that. But if we pick dirt and then do it, and then do a few, that's quite naturalistic compared to that. Likewise, you can do a negative. So if you make it air and put noise, you can start taking blocks away. Which again, it's just a nice tool for giving you the effects. You'll find out when you need it that it's very good, but it's not something obviously you're going to use every single day. Let's go back to round again, and indeed round and air, quite big, noise on, into the ground, click. There, that's quite fun, isn't it? However, if we then say, right, lava, bang, there's your natural lava field. This, you know, these are just quick. I'm sure you'll be able to do something better. Quick ideas. Anyway, the next three buttons are grayed out, or rather redded out. These are clone, fill and replace, and filter. Now, the reason that they are grayed out is they need a selection. So let's select this patchy cube of doom. The whole cube. There we go. Clone. Pretty much self-explanatory. It works the same as copy and paste, really. It's legacy. However, it does have a couple of quite handy tools. Click clone, and there it is. Now, before cut and paste, if you wanted to move something, you'd have to clone it, hit delete, and that will delete the selected. I nearly pointed at the screen then. No. It will delete the one in the white box and keep the one in the green box still floating around, but we don't need to worry about that for now. So you click to place it. It's not there yet. So if you change tools, that will go. You've got some options here. Rotate. Rotates it on the, what is that? Y-axis, isn't it? Roll it. Oh, it's very difficult to tell. Just me to pick a shape that's bloody difficult to. Right, you know what? Let's find a shape that makes that a little more obvious, shall we? Let's go back to this. clone. Right, so there's the well. We can drag it around, click to place, rotate. You see, no difference because it's just spinning on that vertical axis. Roll. Is doing it on. Can you see? I don't know if you can see this mouse. Roll is doing it on this left-right axis. And flip is flipping it upside down, and mirror is obviously not going to do anything on this because it's symmetrical. Mirror is very useful for doing things like race for the wall maps, where you build one side, one channel of the map, and then you can just clone the whole lot over and mirror it. Chunk align, won't really worry too much about that. It's just going to make sure it's aligned with a chunk. I don't know whether that's a corner or whether that's the center, but unlikely you're going to need that very often. As we can see, we've got the nudge button again, so let's hold down nudge and we can move it around after we've placed it, which is quite useful. And you can see with the numbers how far away you've moved it. So obviously up 1 this way, 0, 0, 0 is in exactly the same place. And what have you. Now repeat is quite useful because you can then start scaling, and we can still hold down right mouse button and zoom the camera around. So we can have a whole row of these wellheads, and we can change the gap between them if we so wanted. And then scale factor is again, there's not a great deal of use for it. It's useful if you need it, but you won't need it very often. You see scale factor, but it can make things a little bit messy because, well, play with it, you'll see. And again, we've got copy, air and water, but we don't need that. So yeah, let's put a repeat of 5. Let's put them all next to each other, and then when you're ready, hit the clone button, deselect. Look at that, a nice little sort of funny hallway with holes in. There you go. Undo that because I don't want it. Let's undo the deselect. Let's undo the clone.